Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's MLB update. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the McGrath Podcast Network. Please check out all the shows that we have. We do some great stuff. Brian, James, with Jack, Sonia, Bo, whoever I'm leaving out, I apologize. Tip if you're back. Great stuff. Want to welcome everybody else on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter this morning or this afternoon, whatever it might be for you. I guess morning is gone for everybody. My glasses look crooked again. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, welcome. All the groups that allow us to share. You see some of our favorites scrolling at the bottom of the screen. John Gonzalez is the Sports Authority. He's here with me since day one. One of the best. Who else? Greg Rawlings from America's Pastime, The Love of Baseball. Flo and Can over at Bottom Line Sports. Great stuff. I shared their simulcast, their podcast on Tuesday night when Flo remembers to remind me. Let's Talk Sports, another great network of shows where Flo and Can do their main thing. And we have a great relationship, and I share some shows. They share my shows on the Facebook page. Ken Krause and Golf Bud Sports of All Sorts. Many, 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 many other ones. A special shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff out of Ocean City, Maryland. Pittsburgh Focus, national footprint. Was on a guest with them here a week or so ago, talking some NFL draft stuff. Him and Smoking Jim Frazier on the Sports Corner that runs from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. So check them out. Jack and I did the weekend playbook this morning. Check that out. We'll get into some stuff today. And congrats to Jack, too, again. Check out Jack Hirsch's book, Michael's Jinx Spinks. I finished this book in basically a couple of days. It's a great read. Some great things, some insight on Michael Spinks that if you maybe you don't know the difference between Leon and Michael Spinks, read this book. Great insight on his career, his moving up and winning the heavyweight title, his loss to Mike Tyson. Lots of great insight from Michael himself. So Jack is the official biographer of Michael Spinks. So anyway, Major League Baseball. We're a week into the season now. Probably too early for overreactions, but that's what we have to do because that's all we've got to do. Some early interesting things. The Red Sox are 1-5, while the Marlins are 5-1. Who would have thought? Marlins coming in and playing the Yankees right now, losing 4-2, by the way, in that game. Who are the starters in this game? Who started for the Yankees today? I think it was Will Warren, if I'm not mistaken. Will Warren and Perez. Perez got knocked out after 4 innings. Will Warren still in the game. 2 runs in 5 innings. No walks and 6 strikeouts. Nice start for Will Warren so far. Some other surprises. The Astros a little bit at 5-2, I suppose. We'll look at all the teams real quick here in a little bit. We had a couple of firsts, if you will, in the first week. We had Chase DeLauder and Murakami, the Japanese import for the White Sox, were the 3rd and 4th rookies ever to homer in their first 3 Major League Baseball games. So congratulations to them. DeLauder promptly went on the disabled list today. Kevin McGonnelly, I guess, from the Tigers, went 4 for 4 in his debut. Skipped AAA, by the way. So in history, he's the only guy ever. There are some guys that go back before there was a real AAA as we know today that did it. We Will Keeler, a bunch of old timers. But there was no AAA. So he becomes the first rookie, or the first player to skip AAA, go right to the majors, and go 4 for 4 in his debut. So congratulations to him. The Yankees Bullpen has been very good. 11 innings pitched, no runs given up. I think they only gave up 3 runs in their first 5 games, the Yankees. While Paul Skeens, who has since bounced back, gave up 5 in less than 3 innings in his first start. So just some interesting stuff that's been going on around baseball. The Brewers, who I expected to fall backwards a little bit this year, have gotten off to a 5-1 start. Some young guys, some young stars, if you will, are off to fairly good starts. Ellie De La Cruz, Jackson Merrill, although Churio is on the disabled list of some guys. I don't know why I'm looking at that, because I get a feeling that is an incorrect comment, if you will. But I'd love to get your opinion on where we are to start the season. Again, the Yankees get off. Listen, if you go 1-5 in July, it stands out, but it doesn't stand out like it does to start the season, right? But the Red Sox are already 4 games out. That's pretty significant a week into the season. Yankees 5-1, Toronto 4-2, Orioles 6-6. I like the Orioles in this division, as I've talked about. The Rays 2-4. Some teams that I thought the White Sox would be better. They're off to a bad start. I don't think. Listen, less than 100 losses would be an improvement, right? So I guess anything less than 119. The A's, I really picked to finish second. 1-5 start, not great for them. The Guardians, where the aforementioned DeLauder is playing and now disabled, they get off to 4-3 start. The Tigers stumble out of the gate at 2-4. The Royals picked second there, 3-3. Marlins 5-1, Braves 5-2, Nationals 3-3. Can't get excited over this stuff, right? Mets 3-4. Lindor off to a horrible start. Really some bad fundamental baseball out of Lindor, so maybe something to be concerned about. But we'll see. Freddie Peralta, still, they have to get Freddie Peralta signed as well. They've lost 3 straight now. Cardinals 4-2, bit of a surprise. Their kid at second base is off to a good start. Hit a homer in his first game, hit a walk-off hit in the second game. And the Dodgers, no surprise, 4-2. Ohtani, who'd been off to a slow start, has hit a homer today. They lead 11-4, I believe, if I saw that score correctly today. 11-4 over the Nationals right now. And also the Blue Jays and White Sox are tied at 1-1. The Tigers are up 3-0 over the Cardinals. And the Red Sox and Padres are tied at 3. That's where we stand now. Oh, Danny, how are you? Good afternoon. I love the use of the baseballs. I want to show you guys a picture, by the way. See if I can pull this up. My wife brought me home a little gift the other day. Nothing extraordinary and extravagant, but just something for the front of the house that I thought was pretty cool. And if I can, geez, what'd I do? Get rid of it? You kidding me? Geez, I delete my own emails, for crying out loud. I took a picture of something I wanted to show you guys, and now I can't find it. I sent it to myself just so I could show you. Here it is right here. It's really pretty cool, by the way. I don't know if you can get a good shot of either one of these pictures, but let me just see if I can. It's kind of cool. All right, I got to escape full screen here, so. To get in the baseball mode, my wife knows I love baseball, and see if I can do this or not. Can I share this? This is some exciting stuff. You guys should be really more excited than you are right now about what I'm about to show you. Here it is. All right. Can we see this or not? Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-doo-doo. I want to see if you can see this or not. Get rid of this. Why is Jack here? Here we go. Can't really see that so good, but if I blow it up, here, let me see if I can blow it up. Well, you get the feel of it, I guess. Right? You can see the no place like home with the Major League, with the glove and the baseballs. I just love it. Thought I'd share that today just to get into the baseball mode, if you will. Wink, wink. There's not a lot of wink, winking going on here, let me tell you. So anyway, there you got the little. I can't make it any bigger here, so which is probably part of the problem. That's a story for another day. Who else? What else is going on here early? You know, CB Buckner. Anybody have a worse week? Well, I guess some guys in Washington have had worse weeks. Some guys around the country and whatever. You know, tragedies that might have befallen them. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a bad week. I understand. But in the world of baseball and maybe even the world of sports, has anybody had a worse week than CB Buckner? He's the second longest tenured umpire in baseball, guys. And he might be the worst. And they can't fire him because of, you know, the union's strong. But he's unfortunately now become the poster child for why ABS is such a great success. And you guys can think it is. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not really arguing against the system anymore. But we should do away with umpires and just have that system, because I think there's been, what did I see? I think there's been like 80. There's been like 84 challenges, I guess. This was before, I think, when was this prize? So April 3rd, as of April 3rd, which is today, so this morning. We can't even tell that, you know, 3 strikes, you're not out anymore, because some guys are seeing 5 and 6 strikes. Oh, here it is. I want to say I read in here there was 84 challenges made, which to me is too many, but I realize it's not a lot. But some teams haven't challenged at all, right? Barely have challenged at all. Some guys have had great success. Tucker got a home run today. Who's a hater? Who's hating on the Dodgers, by the way? Other than their salary. I mean, again, can't hate. I don't like the Dodgers. I don't hate the Dodgers. They're not a hated rival for me. We don't play enough anymore. I think we've won quite a few World Series, not recently, over the Dodgers. I don't really hate on my little brother like that. The one that had to move out of town. You know, my little brother had to move across the country. Nah, who hates on the Dodgers? I don't. I don't think what the Dodgers are doing is bad for baseball, right? So now I wouldn't have given Kyle Tucker $70 million, but a year, that's just me, though. Whatever. Everybody's got an opinion. I do think he's 29 years old. I think his defensive has dipped a bit last year with the Cubs. Now maybe he picks that back up with the Dodgers. I don't know. But I don't know. You know, the back end of this contract probably won't look very good, but that's, again, the Dodgers' prerogative to spend their money as they want to spend it. This team's going to win. Again, I will say, Boredom will keep this team from winning 115 games. That's about it. That's about it. You think they should change the World Series to a different name so everybody starts at 0-0 like they did in the Super Bowl? What do you mean? So World Series what? What, start over with a new name? Then kids today will think, you know, and they do, by the way. You know, look at Yankee fans think, you know, Yankee fans of a certain age think they've only won one World Series when they've won 27. Dodgers will catch them eventually, though. Don't worry, Danny. I'm not sure where you're going there, though. So we start with what? World Series 1? Many people don't recognize all the world championships. I agree that, I 100% agree. When I talk about, we're off baseball a little bit, but when I talk about Super Bowls, I'm talking about specifically that. And not forget about Super Bowls and championships before the Super Bowl era. Danny, how about younger people think, that their team's history started when they realized they were there. I know a lot of kids who are Patriot fans who don't understand the struggles of the 70s and 80s and 90s, a lot of those years. I mean, there were a couple of good years sprinkled in there. They don't get it. There's Yankee fans who think that, Aaron Judge is the greatest Yankee of all time. And I'm sorry, as much as I love Aaron Judge, he's not even close. I mean, I could think of 5 guys right off the top of my head. Probably more if I want to work hard. I got to start comparing after 5. He's not Ruth, he's not Garrick, he's not Mantle, he's not DiMaggio. I can probably go to Berra. And again, people are going to judge him on not having won. Well, guess what? The guys I mentioned, they only had to win their league, right? There weren't 12 teams getting into the playoffs. There was 2. Huge difference, by the way. So that one's in favor of Judge, by the way. So anyway, I'm off on a tangent here. Again, I would say both. We can use both terms, I think. One of us offensive, so, if we call younger adults kids, I'm sorry. I was a kid to everybody, that was, 20 years older than me as well. They should stop getting offended. Then when you try to educate them, they're like, I'm not interested. Players too, though. I have little respect for players who don't learn the history of the sport that they're playing. Very little respect for those guys. Too many of them don't. When I remember when they retired, and I don't remember who it was. There was a handful of players that had no clue who Jackie Robinson was when they were retiring that number for him forever. I mean, if you don't know Jackie Robinson, then I'm not sure what to tell you. Back to CB Buckner, though. I mean, he's the poster child for ABS, and he may be the poster child for instant replay in general. He's going to get the Angel Hernandez award for sure. I mean, this guy, you may just see disappear, similar to what Angel Hernandez did here a couple of years ago. He just stopped giving them games. Can't fire him, but they can stop assigning him to games and give him money just to go away. Whatever happened to him, he's in a witness protection program somewhere. CB's about to join him. 8 challenges that he lost. Theoretically, he lost. Plus the play at first base the other night, which was, he wasn't even looking at first base, and he said that Jake Bauer missed the bag. Just ridiculous, man. I mean, again, guys like me who don't want this type of AI have no argument when you guys are so bad. And Dale Scott, my good friend Dale Scott, retired Major League umpire, one of the best in my mind. I don't mean to, throw your brethren under the bus, but man, oh man, you got too many guys, and it's not too many guys. It's like a handful of guys. Listen, 84 challenges, if that's the number. Again, I'm not seeing where I found the number. I feel like I read it this morning. out of how many thousands and thousands? I mean, think about it. How many games have been played? Each team's played, what, 6 games or so? 6 times 30 is 180 times 150, let's say. That's 27,000 pitches. So do we really need to be concerned about 84, if I have the number right, or 184? Just say the numbers. Maybe I'm high, right? Let's say it's 25,000. Say it's 20,000. Unless it's game-ending situation, and we did have the first game end, by the way, on an ABS call here this week as well. Exciting stuff. Sitting there waiting for the cartoon to come on the scoreboard. I'm really, and I mentioned this to Danny in the chat the other day, and I think he agrees with me. He's a big proponent of ABS, which I'm not. But if we're going to have this system, if you feel we have to have this, then it needs to call balls and strikes in general, right? I can't deal with, the constant, and I've seen it in Yankee games. You haven't seen it in the games you're watching, I don't know. But I watched the Monday Mariners and Yankees Monday night, and the constant interruption, not constant, just that, and I know it doesn't take long, but it changes the flow of the game. It just does. And teams are going to get better at it. And by the way, there's another thing that I thought about as I was reading this article today. I can debate the other side, right? I can see other people's arguments, right? I mean, I get it. I understand the problem and specifically about the ABS. But I forgot where I was going here. Oh, I know where it was. There is an advantage. So remember, everybody had to be measured, right? So, and there is, by the way, a margin of error. So this thing is not infallible. So let's not forget that. But there's going to be, once everybody's adjusted to this, and there's an adjustment period that needs to be done, right? And again, I still think if we're going to go this way, then they need to go sooner than later. And it won't be this year, but I do it as soon as next year. If they feel this is the way they have to go, I don't think you're putting the genie back in the bottle, right? Do away with the umpires altogether. But just using the system and the challenge system, there's probably going to be, after all this adjustment, there's an adjustment for pitchers, there's an adjustment for catchers, there's an adjustment for hitters, there's an adjustment for managers. Once the adjustments are made, and every player now has got to kind of relearn his strike zone, right? Because it's not the same as it was last year for anybody, not for Aaron Judge and not for Jose Altuve, right? To kind of go to both extremes of size. There's a new strike zone for everybody. So once they learn it, they're going to have, and think about this, Danny, and tell me if I'm right or wrong. There's going to be an inherent advantage to the hitter. Can you guess why? I'll give you one guess, Danny, and if you want to put it out there. Again, why there's a inherent and obvious to me, well, became obvious to me after I was reading different information about the first week of ABS, right? Once everybody adjusts to the strike zone as it is today, because it is different, there's an advantage to the hitter. I'm going to give you a chance, Danny, because I know we got a lag for when you hear what I'm saying to when you can type in something. Tell me what you think that advantage is, or if there is none. Because I hadn't thought of this before today. But I do think it's important. And there is an adjustment period, right? I mean, what I love is it's the people who think well, I don't know why we have to get every single call right, by the way. If we're off by, 1/10 of a centimeter, is that really an egregious call? And is a hitter got a great eye at that point? No, he's just guessing. I was going to give Danny a chance to answer. But I don't see anything coming up just yet. I won't wait forever. We'll just we'll see if he answers. If he's typing, he'll get this. So anyway, here's the advantage for the hitter. Get a clip on this. Here's the advantage from ABS from a hitter's standpoint versus a pitcher. The hitter's got to learn one strike zone. That's his own. And once he zones in on that and zeroes in on what that strike zone is for him, he's got a huge advantage where a pitcher has got to learn potentially hundreds of strike zones. Because there's not one strike zone anymore. It's based, again, and theoretically it was before. But being as they've all changed, now I've got to kind of learn, if not hundreds, because I've got different size guys who I guess theoretically it's the same. People who are the same size, their strike zone is going to be roughly the same. Hitters will end up, I really predict this will happen. Once again, hitters will have a huge advantage once they learn, at least the smart ones, once they learn their strike zone. Pitchers have to learn many strike zones. So maybe I'm wrong. But we did have our first game end on a ABS call. I know Danny was saying that would be edge of your seat stuff. I don't mean to just single you out, Danny, but you're the one commenting this afternoon. I find the whole thing anticlimactic. In the regular season, it isn't going to be that big a deal, but the postseason, when games start ending on walks or walks or strikeouts determined by what I'm going to see on a cartoon screen, I don't think I'm going to be that excited. In any event. Oh, by the way, speaking of things that happened this week that are kind of noteworthy, Sandy Alcantara from Miami pitched a shutout, a complete game shutout. He used what the Athletic will call a Maddox, which is a complete game with less than 100 pitches. There was 3 of them last year. Sonny Gray, Skubal, and Evalde all pitched Maddoxes last year. I don't think you're going to see many of these anymore, especially now with ABS, right? Because that is going to add to pitch totals, which, again, that in itself to me shouldn't matter. We did pull a pitcher over the weekend, by the way, with a no-hitter. The Mariners rookie was pitching a no-hitter on Sunday, got pulled after 97 pitches. I can't even think of his name right now. Mariners rookie pitcher. Who was that? Emerson Hancock, right. 97 pitches, 9 strikeouts, no walks. We take him out of the game. This is what we've come to. Just isn't something that excites me. What else is happening in the world of baseball while we're talking about it? I do still love baseball. Somehow, amongst it all, I still love baseball. Dodgers will be wearing an alternate blue jersey on the road now. Connor Griffin is getting called up today. Excuse me 1 second. Yeah, Connor Griffin's getting called up today. I'm guessing the Pirates must have sent him down because of service time issues. But he'll be starting today at shortstop, and the Connor Griffin era has begun. Great. We've got some great young players in the game today between Griffin and Gunnar Henderson, and I still think Jackson Holiday in Baltimore will be a great player, amongst others. We talked about the Tigers' great rookie, great prospect, I should say. St. Louis has got some good prospects. But we will start the Conor Griffin era today in Pittsburgh. Can they get him signed is going to be another question. So now they've got a great position player. You got a great pitcher. Now you got to get them both signed. Another news item today, Trevor Bauer, we talked about this morning, is signed. He's going to pitch for the Long Island Ducks, an independent league team, which aren't, I guess there's maybe, I don't know, maybe there's 30 across the league, I want to say. Maybe there's more. By the way, if you want to watch a great documentary, I think I've talked about this before, The Battered Bastards of Baseball. It's about the in the 70s, there was an independent team in in Portland called the Portland Mavericks. It was owned by Bing Russell, a great actor of westerns and later on some detective stories. He's a character actor, never leading man, but his most famous role was that of Kurt Russell's dad. He owned this team, and it's a great story where they played against not AAA teams, but I think it was single A teams that were all affiliated with Major League Baseball teams in the Northwest in the 70s and won their league title, regular season titles. They weren't able to win championships, but they brought Portland. Portland had left. They'd had the Beavers, a AAA team. But they weren't able to draw and support the team, so they left. Well, Bing Russell brought in the Mavericks, and they played great. They were drawing. They set records for minor league baseball at the time, some which still hold for that level of minor league baseball. And then when the Major League Baseball teams saw the result and the people showing up to the games, they decided to use their territorial rights to say they owned Portland again, and they put the Beavers back in AAA. I think I don't remember who they were affiliated with, quite frankly. But it's a great documentary that you can catch on Netflix. I've watched it about 5 times. It's just tremendous. I watched it the other day again. But I brought this up because of a Trevor Bauer who was playing for the Long Island Ducks. And the question came up this morning with Jack, do we think he'll ever get another chance? I don't think he does because of, I understand he was not guilty. And we've had this conversation on the show before. It was determined that these last allegations that got him removed from the Dodgers and nearly put in jail were fabricated, at least to some or all extent. But that isn't the whole story with Trevor Bauer. It doesn't change his personality overall. And as much talent as he might have, I don't know that I want him in my clubhouse. So, we've had this discussion here before. I don't think Trevor Bauer pitches in the major leagues again. He's now pitched in the Mexican League the last couple of years. Dandy and I talked this morning about how he wasn't a perfect role model there. And anyway, he takes another shot. We talked about ABS, Twins being the most successful so far with 9 successful challenges. There's some other stats on this. Yeah, it's early in the season. It's kind of hard finding things to chat about a little bit. Oh, some of the teams that I liked that aren't doing well. I started to talk about some of them earlier. And we'll get to some of the matchups for the weekend. The Giants got off to a rough start, not scoring. I don't think they scored one. I think they scored 1 run in their opening series against the Yankees. They're now 3-4. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. Tony Vitello off to a rough start, but I think things will be fine. Rockies found a way to beat the Blue Jays by 10 runs the other day. Interesting. but not telling. Again, we're 6 games, 7 games in some cases into this. I don't see a lot of trends that are really worth kind of diving into at this point, other than, some aberrations. Again, the Marlins starting 5-1. I got some good young players, good young pitchers, and some decent position players, similar like Xavier Edwards, for instance. Do I expect them to win 5 out of 6 every 6 games? I do not. I do not expect them to win 3 out of every 6 games. So we'll see how that works out for them. But so we've had our first week of a lot of firsts this week. Sound redundant. We had a lot of this week. We've seen a lot of firsts. And Netflix, again, please. We won't talk about that again. Get your stuff together before we start our Sunday morning baseball. NBC will be starting their primetime games on Sunday nights here. When are they going to start? I think this weekend. I think they start Sunday night. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to find the date here. I'm interested to see what NBC, again, because we don't need to reinvent baseball on TV, do we? Don't reinvent the game. Don't insert yourself into the game the way Netflix did with the Yankee Giant opener. Just do me a favor. Broadcast the game. Show as many camera angles as you want. That stuff's cool. I don't need players mic'd up. I don't need gimmicks. Just show me. You can show the game from a gazillion angles. I'd be happy with that. Call the game. Tell me what's going on in the game. I don't need more than that. If you do, then I'm sorry. I don't. I want to watch baseball. I don't want a bunch of gimmicks thrown at me. So I hope you kind of learn from what goes on there. We do have some teams wearing some interesting accessories to their uniforms. The A's are wearing a patch for their 125th anniversary. Now, remember, this goes back to Philadelphia. So it's not the 125th anniversary of the Oakland / Sacramento / LA or Las Vegas. A's. But the patch does call out Philadelphia, Kansas City, Oakland, and Sacramento. So cool. That's kind of cool. The Blue Jays are marking their 50th season with a patch and the original Blue Jay logo on it, which is kind of cool. The Mariners also have a 50 seasons patch on their uniform. The Cubs are celebrating their 150th anniversary with a patch. Congratulations to them. The Tigers have an alternate logo on one of their uniforms with a tiger's head. The Phillies are wearing an All-Star Game, a 2026 All-Star Game patch. The Twins are honoring their 65th anniversary in the Twin Cities. Remember, they moved from Washington to Minnesota in 1961. They got a kind of a cool little patch on their uniform. So there's a couple of things off the field that are going on. That's kind of funny. I'm just looking for some of the things off the grid a little bit. Danny did bring up, I don't know if he brought it up here last week, though, but we brought up Greg Maddux and how Greg Maddux would do with this ABS system. I think Greg Maddux would have a great career. I don't know if he would win 5 Cy Youngs. I don't know if he would win 340 games, whatever he won. I think he might have found his way into the Hall of Fame because he was that good a pitcher. But it'd be interesting to see, again, it's going to be hard. another reason it's hard to compare eras, right? I mean, are we going to see a reduction in strikeouts because of ABC, or are we going to see an increase? We don't know yet. Where is the advantage really going to end up? I said it was with the hitters. Will it end up with the pitchers? I mean, as much as pitchers seem to be dominating today, because, we just tell guys to go out there and throw 100 miles an hour with movement and for as long as they can. Any rules, and I've talked about this many times, any rules that Major League Baseball comes up with is to increase offense. Pretty much every rule change since 1968 has been to benefit offense. We lowered the pitching mound. We put in the DH. We had smaller ballparks. We changed the way baseballs were made. We changed the way bats were made. We put in instant replays so we can check on home runs. Still, I think, advantage offenses. Then we changed the rules to put in a pitch clock, which adversely affects pitchers. We put in rules to shorten the bases, which helps stolen bases and hurts pitchers. And they can only throw over, not just as many times as you want. You can throw over twice, and after that, you pretty much got a free pass because you can't throw over anymore. Now we've got the ABS. We have yet to see which side of the ledger this will help more than others, but my guess would be still this will help the hitters eventually. Once everything settles in, they got one strike zone to look at. Pitchers have many. What else? First walk-off challenge. Now we got a walk-off challenge. I mean, good God. CB Buckner, we talked about, he had to leave a game. Maybe he won't come back. He took a foul ball off his mask. Maybe they'll find a way to keep him out of off the field for a while. What are the rankings right now? Let's look at that. After 1 week, has there been any change to the power rankings? Number one is the Dodgers. I got no argument there. Their previous ranking was 1. The Yankees move up from 3 to 2. This is the ESPN ranking, by the way. So take it for what it's worth. I probably should use the Athletics. If I could find it quickly, I would. The Mariners fall from 2 to 3. Nothing major there. Blue Jays still at 4. Mets fall, actually move up somehow from 6 to 5. The Brewers move up from 6, from 11. A little bit of a surprise start for them. Phillies fall to 7 from 6. I'm sorry, from 5. Cubs drop a spot. Tigers drop a spot. Braves stay where they were. Rangers up 3 spots. Red Sox fall 3 spots to 12. The Orioles fall a spot to 13. Astros fall a spot to 14. You'd think they would move up, right? The Reds, who I picked to finish last in that Central Division, are off to a 3-3 start, and they move up to 15 from 18. No big movements here, so I'm not going to. Guardians jump 3 spots to 17. Flat. Padres drop 4 spots to 20. The Marlins only move up. They start 5-1. They only move up to 21. Pittsburgh, where they started, the Giants fall back 6 spots. That's probably the biggest movement we see here. The rest is all pretty flat. The Twins lose 3 spots. Angels and Artie Moreno, knowing that the fans don't care about winning. It's not a priority for them. It's not even in their top 5 priorities, right, Artie? Well, you're off to a good start again at 2-4. Good job. 3-4 now. The Rockies are 30th and probably will stay there most of the year, would be my guess. You guys might have just joined us late. If you got any topics, anything that surprises early in the year you want to bring up, please do so. Again, the Yankees pitching has been a pleasant surprise so far, especially without having Cole or Rondon in that rotation. Warren's pitched well. Sheetler pitched well the other day. And they're only going to get better, hopefully, once. I'm not sure about when Rondon comes back. When Cole gets healthy, this team will be firing on all cylinders. But they only give up 3 runs in 5 games, but that won't last. Can't last. Talked about Connor Griffin. Listen, I know that I'm in the very small minority when it comes to ABS. Most people in baseball are happy about it. I don't like the proliferation of it. I don't like the way you can use it and keep using it if you're right. I am okay overcoming egregious calls, right? But again, we're seeing a lot of pitches. So again, I would say half the ones that I've seen overturned, and I'm not saying I've seen every one, have been things that are like 1/10 of an inch off the freaking plate. And I'm not even quite sure that we're measuring the right part of the strike zone. The strike zone starts where the plate begins, not where it ends. That all makes a difference. And some of this is not taken into consideration with, the technology that's been put into ABS. They're still working on it. Dodgers now up 7-. Really? Weren't they up 11-4? I hope Dodgers now up 12-6 over the Nationals. Yankees scored another run. They're up 5-2. Jazz Chisholm with a couple of knocks here, a couple stolen bases in this game. Yankees looking to go to 6-1 on the season. The Red Sox trying to get their second win, still tied 2-2. Sonny Gray still in the game for the Red Sox in the 6th inning. And the Rays and Twins now have kicked off as well. It's the top of the 1st. Actually, that's a delayed game right now. So maybe they've started or they're getting ready to start. So we'll see how that goes. Let's look at this weekend's action before we pop away. And if you guys got any comments about anything that's happened this first week or anything you expect to happen here in the second week, anything you agree with, or maybe even more importantly, disagree with, feel free to throw it out there. Major League Baseball schedule. I already talked about this is the weekend series, right? Dodgers are leading the Nationals, as we talked about. Sheehan and Mikolas were the starters in this game. Tigers and Cards. Tigers are winning this game. McGreevy and Valdez started for the two teams. I think it's still the Tigers are still ahead in this game, by the way. Where are they? That game might have gone final now. Yep. That game is a final. Tigers win 4-0. Framber Valdez with his first win as a Tiger. Great job. Also this weekend, we got the Yankees right now winning 5-2 over Miami. Will Warren and Perez started in this game. San Diego and Boston are playing. Michael King started for the Padres. Sonny Gray still in there for the Red Sox. Toronto and Chicago started this afternoon as well. Dylan Cease against Grant Taylor. Coming up here soon will be Cincinnati at Texas. Brady Singer and Mackenzie Gore in the opener. These games will be played all weekend, by the way. The Cubs will travel to Cleveland. Cade Horton and Sonny Cantillo. The Rays go to Minnesota. Boyle and Ober. Philadelphia goes to Colorado. Aaron Nola, who pitched really well, Aaron Nola, against in the WBC, had some added velocity. We'll see if Aaron Nolan can keep that up. And I'll come back to your comments in just a second. I see a couple up there. I see Taylor. Hello, Taylor Phillips. How are you, buddy? Tigers did win just 4-0. Congratulations to Taylor and your Vikings, your Tigers. Nice pitching. Framber Valdez, Taylor, I think, is one of the best signings in the offseason. The Tigers, I think, go as far as their pitching. There's some potential, I think some good potential with that offense, but some guys are more likely to struggle than others, right? This isn't going to be one of the more prolific offenses in baseball, but it might be the best pitching staff, especially if Verlander can pitch like he pitched the second half of the season for the Giants last year, where he pitched very, very well after, being one of the worst pitchers in baseball, if not the worst pitcher in baseball the first half. He pitched really well in the second half. The Tigers can do some damage. The rest of the card for this weekend, the Orioles will travel to Pittsburgh tonight. Again, Connor Griffin gets his debut, and that era gets started. One of the top hyped prospects in all of baseball. Kyle Bradish against Mitch Keller in that game. I liked Pittsburgh. Remember, they're not off to a great start, but I have them in the playoffs. Milwaukee, bit of a surprising start for me anyway, against the Royals. Patrick against Avila. The Mariners, middling start for them against the Artie Moreno's. We don't care. Our fans don't care about winning. Moreno. That'll be Brian Wu against Detmers. By the way, Mariners will win that division. Mariners will win the AL, I believe, because their pitching is just too good. Deep. Hancock, who's starting from Bryce Miller, throws. Well, he didn't get a chance to throw a no-hitter, but he threw 6 no-hit innings on Sunday. That's their 5th starter. The Braves off to a pretty good start. Will play the D-backs. Grant Holmes against Rodriguez. The Astros, maybe is a bit of a surprising start against the A's. Off to a disappointing start. A's got to get pitching. If they get any kind of pitching, they can finish second in the West. That's my opinion. If they don't get any pitching, they can finish last. That'll be Javier against Springs, and the Mets will travel to San Francisco, or already have. Their exciting rookie, Nolan McLean, will face off against Tyler Mahle. How does Tyler Mahle keep getting jobs? Somebody explain to me. He's pitched all over baseball, but here he is still pitching. He's an innings eater when he's healthy, by the way. Never understood what good inning eaters were if they weren't any good during the innings they were pitching. Somebody please explain that to me. Taylor, if you're still with us, by the way, I did pick your Tigers to win the Central and not quite make it to the LCS. I'm apologizing up front, but I can also, in the interest of fair play, I didn't pick my Yankees to advance in the playoffs either. So hopefully I'm off in both cases for both our sakes, I guess. So what can we look forward to in week 2? We will look forward to hopefully some of the guys who have gotten off to poor starts and some bad fundamental baseball being played in New York, and with the Mets changing a little bit. As these guys settle in with the ABS, I hope I become less frustrated with it, so you have to listen to it less. I'm going to be accepting of it at some point. I'm going to have no choice. As I said, the genie doesn't get put back in the bottle. So I'm really hoping that if this is what's going to happen, that we get the strike zone a little bit more normalized, if you will. We don't give the hitters too much of an advantage once these pitchers, catchers, and hitters have settled into what the strike zones are. And if this is the way that we're going, just eliminate the human element and let the computer call balls to strike, so I don't have these disruptions in flow of the game. That's all I ask for. I don't think it's a lot. So there you have it. Hopefully some of these rookies, Connor Griffin, good luck. I hope you can meet the hype. The Pirates will be better off if you can. Pirates need some offense as well. They made some interesting moves in the offseason. I did pick them to finish second and win a wild card, or gain a wild card. into the playoffs this year. So we'll see how that goes as well as we walk through the season. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. We've had a small crowd today, but a lot of you will see this later, and we thank you for watching it. Share it. Follow the show, and we'll see you guys on the rebound. I'll see you Sunday with the same consciousness. Back Monday with Jack on the weekend playbook. Well, have a great weekend, guys. Bye-bye.